Major economic updates have come out that will affect the UK housing market. Hey, it's Chris here from Property Abundance, and you're joining me in a slightly different setting today because we are here in Birmingham running one of our Inner Circle mentorship days. So for those of you who follow the channel, you might recognize that we're not in the usual studio. We are sat in a conference room, but I got here a bit early, so I thought I'd record this video because there's been some economic data come out in the last few days that has a major impact on the UK housing market and will influence how prices go up and down. So we've had a few data points come out. The first comes directly from the Bank of England. Now they have held base interest rates at 5.25% for a second month running. That follows a string of 14 consecutive months of the base rate increasing. So what does that mean first of all? Well, firstly, that gives us a bit more stability in the market. If we've kind of got away from this trend of rise, and now there's a bit of stability creeping back in, then that's going to help the market to stabilize. Now, it's not all roses though, because there was a bit of a split decision when the Bank of England voted on this, but the majority came out in favor of holding the interest rates this month. That's not to say though that there won't be subsequent rises coming in the future, or maybe even reductions. We have to wait and see what the economy does, how it responds to the latest round of economic measures before they will make their decision on what happens next month. So how has that impacted the market so far? Well, firstly, we've actually seen that mortgages, the mortgage market has instantly responded to that, and fixed rate mortgages, ones that are tied in for a fixed period of time, and you get a fixed rate over that period, have actually come down a little bit. Now that means that they're betting that actually the market's not going to continue to rise. Okay, now anytime you get a fixed rate mortgage, that's effectively a bet placed on behalf of the lender about what the market's going to do. So if you're seeing long-term fixed rate mortgages starting to reduce, then they're clearly interpreting this latest round of economic data from the Bank of England as a good sign, as a sign that actually the market is stabilizing, that they can start to bring their longer term rates down. So we've already seen that impact on the fixed rate mortgage market. The variable market is the variable market. That just tracks the base rate. So there's not really much difference there. It's just stayed the same. Now, on top of that, we've had some predictions made, some economic predictions. The first is that the economic market here in the UK is going to remain flat right through 2024. Obviously, at the time of recording this is early November, but we're looking at the rest of 2023 and the majority of 2024 as pretty flat economic outlook. That means very little, if any, economic growth. So GDP will remain flat. It's not good for a nation as a whole, and a slower economy will have a knock-on impact into house prices. Now, that can happen in two ways. Firstly, if you have a slow or stagnant economy, you get less house building. Therefore, less house building means that you get less supply. Now, that again can have an impact on the market because less supply should mean prices go up. However, if you've also got a flat economic market, it means people aren't getting pay rises, unemployment's likely to raise, and therefore these economic pressures can bring prices down. So there is a bit of a push and a pull on this. The other market data that came out was inflation, which stays around 6%. It's still much higher than the target 2% base rate. Now again, what impact does this inflation have on the UK housing market? Well, it makes it harder for people to afford to buy new houses. Think about it this way. If all of a sudden the groceries that you're buying and your cost of living, let's say you spend £1,000 on your cost of living just to kind of pay your bills and your food each month, and then all of a sudden inflation creeps up to 7, 8, 9, even 10% as it did get. All of a sudden your cost of living is increasing at a phenomenal rate. Now, unless your wages keep up, that means your overall wealth, the amount that you have surplus each month, will reduce every single month, right? Now that means that people have less money to put into savings. People putting less money into savings also means people putting less money into investments, and you can see how the cycle starts to create. Now, if there's less people saving up deposits and buying houses, then straight away that's going to have a negative impact on demand for houses and therefore a deflationary effect on the prices. So flat economic outlook, inflation's still high, mortgage rates, okay, they've held, but they're still much higher. And we've still got a lot of people who are still paying their lower rates that were on fixed term mortgages that are yet to feel the pain of this higher rate. So with all these things taken into account, the mortgage market, the property market should be pretty flat. However, despite the fact that all of these things suggest we should have a falling market right now, October actually saw a price rise. Now, why does that happen? That doesn't really make sense when we look at the economic data, that we shouldn't be expecting it. Now, don't get too excited because it's only a very modest price rise and we are still down 3.3% year on year from last October, making the average price here in the UK, the average house price here in the UK currently £259,000. But why is this happening? Why do people think that house prices have risen? Well, depends who you listen to. If we take Nationwide, for example, they have an opinion that it's due to a lack of housing stock. People aren't selling at the moment. However, one thing we do see is more people defaulting on mortgages. Okay, the mortgage default rate has continued to rise. That means people are struggling to pay their mortgages and at some point will be forced to sell through a process called repossession, where the bank effectively takes your property from you. Now, currently, 43,300 mortgages were approved in September. That is a 30% reduction from September 2019. So from pre-COVID to where we are now is a pretty massive reduction. Now, that's Nationwide's opinion. They think it's due to a lack of stock for sale. Okay, and that's what's having this inflationary effect on prices, because if you've got less supply, your prices go up. There is another opinion, and that is from Fine & Country. The CEO of Fine & Country came out and said that buyers are now feeling more buoyant. This stability that's come back in the market, they're seeing much more buoyancy in the market, and buyers are more likely to want to get back in because they don't want to miss out on any future price rises. Now, we've got to take this with a pinch of salt, though, because agents are intrinsically going to be biased on this. Okay, they want the market to be buoyant. So there is always a pinch of salt to take with any kind of forecast from a form of agency, because they are incentivized to want people to think that the market is growing because they can sell more houses. Now, what does all this mean for you? It means that there are opportunities to be had. Okay, this is uncertain economic times right now, and property still remains a very safe investment. But the amount of reductions we're talking about create a really good buyer's market. Now, I think we will continue to see price drops. Okay, I think that the economic data as it is, I think we will see price drops. I believe that this rise in October might have been a bit of a unicorn, a bit of a rare event. And I think we will see a return to deflation. And that creates these buying conditions. Now, look, if you want to learn how to take the advantage of these buying conditions, go ahead and check down below where we have got the opportunity for you to book a free consultation call with one of my team. And on that call, they'll get to grips with where you are right now, where you want to get in your property business, and what kind of resources you've got available to you, and give you your next steps to move things forward. So if you want that, go ahead and check the link down below in the description below this video. Other than that, please do me a massive favor and click that like button and drop a comment of what your biggest takeaway has been from this video, because it really, really helps the channel. We're trying to grow this channel. We're trying to get good information, fact-based information, not just hype, out there into the market. So please go ahead and smash that like button, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.